The Haunted Mirror. As I settled into my new apartment, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Moving to a new city for work had its challenges, but I never expected to feel this uneasy in my own home. The apartment was spacious, with large windows that let in plenty of natural light during the day. But as night fell, the shadows seemed to dance, casting eerie shapes across the walls. One item in particular caught my attention, a vintage mirror that hung in the hallway. It had an ornate frame, adorned with intricate carvings, but its glass was slightly tarnished, giving it a haunted aura. Despite its beauty, I couldn't shake the feeling that there was something off about it. One evening, as I passed by the mirror, I caught a glimpse of movement out of the corner of my eye. I froze, my heart pounding in my chest. I turned slowly, expecting to see nothing but my own reflection staring back at me. But instead, I saw a figure standing behind me in the mirror, a shadowy silhouette, its features obscured by darkness. I stumbled back in shock, my pulse racing as I tried to rationalize what I had just seen. Maybe it was a trick of the light, or perhaps my mind was playing tricks on me. But deep down, I knew there was something sinister lurking within that mirror. As the days passed, the feeling of being watched only intensified. Strange noises echoed through the apartment at night, whispers in the darkness, footsteps that seemed to come from empty rooms. I tried to ignore it, telling myself it was just my imagination running wild. But then things took a terrifying turn. One night, as I lay in bed, I heard a soft scratching sound coming from the hallway. I hesitated, my breath catching in my throat as I listened intently. The scratching grew louder, more frantic, until it sounded like claws scraping against the walls. With trembling hands, I reached for the lamp on my bedside table and flicked it on. The room was bathed in light, but the scratching continued, echoing through the apartment like a sinister symphony. And then, just as suddenly as it had started, the noise ceased, leaving behind an eerie silence. I knew I had to confront whatever was haunting me. With a sense of dread, I made my way to the hallway, where the vintage mirror hung like a portal to another world. As I approached, I saw movement once again, a flicker of movement within the glass. Summoning all of my courage, I reached out and touched the mirror's surface. And that's when I felt it, a cold, clammy hand grasping mine from the other side. I recoiled in horror, pulling away as if burned. In that moment, I knew I had to get rid of the mirror. With shaking hands, I pried it from the wall and carried it outside, where I smashed it into pieces with a hammer. As the glass shattered, a sense of relief washed over me, and I knew that whatever had been haunting me was finally gone. But as I turned to go back inside, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was still watching me, lurking in the shadows just out of sight. And as I hurried back into my apartment, I couldn't help but wonder what other horrors lay waiting in the darkness. Whispering shadows. In the depths of my fascination for old houses, there was an unspoken allure, a mystique that drew me in like a moth to a flame. So, when my family announced our move to a centuries-old manor nestled amidst towering trees and whispering shadows, my excitement soared. Little did I know, the thrill would soon be replaced by a chilling realization of the darkness lurking within those ancient walls. It began innocuously enough, with faint whispers drifting through the halls and mysterious shadows dancing in the corners of my vision. My parents, ever the pragmatists, dismissed these occurrences as the quirks of an aging house. Yet, I sensed something more sinister at play. As nights unfolded into a symphony of creaking floorboards and spectral murmurs, my curiosity burgeoned. Ignoring the warnings echoing in my mind, I resolved to confront the source of these unsettling disturbances. One evening, shrouded in the cloak of darkness, I ascended the dilapidated staircase to the attic, its steps groaning under my weight. Each creak seemed to mock my audacity, but I pressed on, driven by an insatiable need to unravel the mysteries veiled within. Upon reaching the attic, an oppressive chill enveloped me, suffusing the air with a palpable sense of foreboding. With trembling hands, I flicked on the feeble light switch, casting feeble illumination upon the desolate space. Dust-laden boxes loomed like silent sentinels, guarding secrets lost to time. But amidst the gloom, a spectral figure materialized before me, a girl, her ethereal form pulsating with an otherworldly glow. Her vacant gaze bore into my soul, her presence a haunting lament trapped within the confines of the attic. "Help me," she implored, her voice a spectral whisper that reverberated through the recesses of my mind. I recoiled in terror, the tendrils of fear tightening around my heart. Yet, compassion compelled me forward, inching closer to the spectral apparition. With trepidation, I extended a trembling hand, only to watch in horror as it passed through her incorporeal form. Before I could comprehend the gravity of my actions, the attic erupted into chaos. An onslaught of poltergeist fury unleashed upon the mortal realm. Objects hurtled through the air with reckless abandon, shattering the fragile semblance of normalcy. The girl's anguished cries mingled with the cacophony, a symphony of despair echoing through the confines of the attic. In a desperate bid for escape, I stumbled backward, the staircase a distant beacon of salvation. But fate had other plans, as an unseen force collided with my being, hurtling me into the abyss below. When consciousness reclaimed me, I found myself ensnared in the confines of my bed, drenched in a sheen of cold sweat. Was it all but a fevered dream? I dared not entertain the notion, for the truth lay in the shadows, lurking within the recesses of my fractured psyche. From that fateful night onwards, I dared not venture into the attic's cursed embrace, for fear of awakening dormant horrors. Yet, the girl's spectral presence lingered, a haunting reminder of the darkness that lurked within the heart of our ancestral home. And so, ensnared within the tendrils of the past, I bore witness to the whispers of the shadows, a silent testament to the price of curiosity unchecked. Midnight Chase, a tale of the unknown. I love taking late-night walks through the quiet streets of my town. The cool breeze and the soft glow of the moon always bring me peace. But one fateful night, everything changed. As I strolled down familiar paths, the world around me started to blur. Confusion swept over me, and when I blinked, I found myself in an unfamiliar alleyway. Panic surged through my veins as I tried to make sense of my surroundings. Suddenly, a chill ran down my spine as I heard footsteps echoing behind me. I turned, but there was no one there. Heart pounding, I quickened my pace, desperate to escape the eerie silence that enveloped me. But the footsteps persisted, growing louder with each passing moment. I dared not look back, fearing what I might see. Whispers filled the air, sending shivers down my spine. As I rounded a corner, I stumbled upon an abandoned house looming ominously in the darkness. With nowhere else to go, I hesitated before cautiously stepping inside. The air was thick with the scent of decay, and every creak of the floorboards echoed through the empty halls. I crept through the house, the sense of dread weighing heavy on my chest. But no matter where I turned, I felt like I was being watched. Shadows flickered in the corners of the room, and the temperature dropped, sending a chill down my spine. Suddenly, a piercing scream shattered the silence, causing me to freeze in terror. Without a second thought, I raced towards the exit, desperate to escape the nightmare that had become my reality. As I burst through the door, I found myself back on the familiar streets of my town. Gasping for breath, I glanced back at the abandoned house, wondering if it had all been a figment of my imagination. But deep down, I knew the truth. Something sinister lurked in the shadows, waiting to ensnare its next victim. And as I walked home, I couldn't shake the feeling that it was still out there, watching, waiting.